This is Financing Entrepreneurial Ventures MGT 655, a final assignment presentation on capital budgeting. My name is Dennis Edogun. This presentation will be made under the following agendas. One, a brief summary, funding sources, capital budgeting techniques, throughput analysis, discounted cash flow analysis, payback period analysis, conclusion, and finally, references. Financing and capital budgeting for a family business. A brief summary. Entrepreneurship is about the creation of businesses for the production of goods and services. And most entrepreneurial firms across the world are family businesses. And family businesses are businesses that are founded by one member of the family, sometimes a husband and wife, sometimes a member from one particular family and another member from another family coming together to form a business. So all of these are categorized as family businesses. Across the world, family businesses play a pivotal role in economic development. There's no doubt about that. Employment creation, work creation, distribution, and maximization, and even creating legacy for the family. Family businesses account for about 50% of the gross domestic product in the United States, and about 30% of the Fortune 500 organizations are family businesses. However, to start a business, one needs funds, one needs money. And there are varieties of funding sources that are available to entrepreneurs. One of those categories is the equity financing. Equity financing can come from investors such as angel investors, venture capitalists, and grants, sometimes from personal savings as well. All these sources may be responsible for the beginning of the initial stage of the investment. So at some point, there may be need for further funds, and the use of debt financing is also very popular, where entrepreneurs get loans from banks, loans from family and friends. Um, some of the loans can be guaranteed by the Small Business Administration in the US. Some entrepreneurs, however, use a combination of both, starting with their initial savings at the beginning, then getting more equity financing later on from investors, and the use of bank loans are very, very popular. Nonetheless, funds, sources, and uses must be articulated in the business plan. I need to underscore this. The business plan is a very important document that the founding fathers of every business must develop, where at the beginning, the feasibility analysis must have been done to test the waters and be sure that the business opportunities are viable and bankable. Thereafter, a detailed business plan must be generated. This business plan has two uses. It can be used internally by the managers as they progress along the line, and it is often it is often required by investors or even to secure bank loans. Banks want to see your business plan before they know whether the business is serious or not. So business plan is very important, and the ability to create a marketable business plan will determine the ability of an entrepreneur to seek for funds for his investment. Capital budgeting. Firm success depends on the ability to efficiently manage its resources. There's no doubt about that. And one of such resources is finances. If finances cannot be properly utilized and managed, there will be no success. Funds are scarce. and will never be enough to pursue every available business opportunities. I mean, an investor or um, um, an entrepreneur may want to buy, for instance, delivery vans, may want to invest in computer system, may want to invest in bigger office spaces, but usually the available funds aren't enough to do all of this at the same time. So there has to be a way decisions are taken that will ensure that wherever the money is being put will bring optimum value to the organization. As it were, growth involves investment in projects or capital assets. And like I said before, you will never have enough money to do all that you want to do at the same time, so you need to prioritize. And the use of capital budgeting is very, very important as it helps entrepreneurs to take certain decisions that are optimal about using funds, about comparing alternative sources, alternative courses of action. Capital budgeting is aimed at ensuring that every dollar spent on a capital asset or any project are well spent, considering first the cost of the funds. Because if you go for bank loan, for instance, you're going to pay interest and service the loan for the term or for the period of the loan till all the money is paid back. And you also must make profit to remain in business. So you need to consider the accrued benefits to the firm. Capital budgeting helps entrepreneurs justify investment in capital assets it helps to evaluate major projects and investment. It helps the process involved analyzing the project's cash inflows and outflows to determine whether the expected return on the particular investment or projects or capital asset meets a set benchmark. The decision to invest in capital assets is called capital budgeting decision. The cost of such decision results in the opportunity cost because of foregone opportunities. Like I said before, you will not have enough funds to do all that you want to do, so you have to spend the money somewhere. So the opportunity you have lost from spending the money somewhere becomes the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost is one way of looking at the time value of money. Like we normally say, time is money. The time value of money is the loss of purchasing power that occurs over time as a result of inflation. And inflation refers to the increase of prices of commodities over time. This is the reason why, to entrepreneurs, a dollar today value much more than a dollar in 2 years' time because of inflation. Therefore, entrepreneurs need to employ capital budgeting tools to ease their decision-making process. Capital budgeting techniques. There are a variety of capital budgeting models, some of which are the payback analysis, the net present value NPV, the profitability index PI, the internal rate of return IRR, the accounting rate of return ARR, the lowest total cost TC, the throughput analysis, and the discounted cash flow analysis. Three of the most widely used methods are the throughput analysis, the discounted cash flow analysis, and the payback analysis. So each of these three will be discussed in the following slides. Throughput analysis. Throughput analysis is assessed as the total amount of material passing through any given system. The organization is seen as a system. While it is the most complicated of all capital budgeting techniques, it is also the most accurate method for capital investment decisions. The entire organization is viewed as an exclusive profit generating system, as a unit, as a whole. To ensure profitability, however, it will be necessary to maximize the throughput passing through a bottleneck. And by the way, a bottleneck is the resource in the system that requires the longest time in operations. Mathematically, the throughput is the difference between the revenues and all variable costs. Variable costs ranging from cost for consumable, cost for raw material, cost for different costs that changes with unit produced. Emphasis should be on optimal budgeting. Sorry, I take that again. Emphasis should be on capital budgeting projects that impact and increase the throughput passing through the bottleneck. Optimizing the throughput presupposes that the capacity of the bottleneck operation can be enhanced one way or the other. However, even if the capital investment proposal fails to improve the throughput in some manner, it must satisfy at least one of the following criteria to meet capital budgeting decision-making criteria. One, the proposal must reduce the basic operating costs of the organization. It must satisfy a legal or regulatory requirement. It must mitigate a risk. It must increase the ability of a workstation or subunit upstream of the bottleneck operation to rapidly produce goods. By this way, I mean the inventory or the finished goods increases and sales will increase, leading to more profitability for the organization. Discounted cash flow analysis. DCF analysis is a tool that enjoys broad applicability across different sectors and different industries. For instance, it's been used extensively in stock evaluation when an investor is considering what stock to buy and what stock to sell. It has also been used extensively in real estate investment trust. DCF analysis is similar or the same as the NPV. NPV is a net present value analysis because it looks at the initial cost, initial cash outflow needed to fund a project or to fund a capital asset, the mix of cash inflows in the form of revenue, and other future outflows in the form of maintenance or other costs. These costs, except the initial outflow, are discounted back to the present time or present date. The resulting number or figure of the DCF analysis is the NPV. Therefore, projects with the highest NPV should be ranked over others unless one or more are mutually exclusive. The DCF relationship can be mathematically stated by this formula we see here that takes into account the CT, the CF of T, which is the expected cash flow in the period of time T, and RO is the expected rate of return. The DCF analysis enjoys numerous advantages, some of which are the DCF analysis allows an entrepreneur to compute the present value of the future cash flow expected from the project or from the investment. The DCF is used in analyzing how viable and attractive an investment opportunity is in comparison with other options. It employs future free cash flow projections and has them discounted using the WACC, which is the weighted average cost of capital to arrive at the present value. The DCF analysis captures the underlying fundamental drivers of a business, such as the cost of equity, the WACC, WACC, the growth rate, etc. Finally, the payback period analysis. The payback analysis is concerned with the length of time it takes to recoup investment on capital asset or project. What it looks at is the number of years it will take for you to recoup all the investment and also make some profit. It is concerned about the length of time the cost of acquiring the asset is tied up in the investment and the profits accruable from the investment over time. Mathematically, payback is equal to C divided by ATB, where C is the cost of the project or capital asset, and the ADB represents the annual after-tax benefit of the project. The payback period analysis has some merits and demerits. The simplicity of the model and ease of use is one of the advantages. The way it easily differentiates investment with that similar initial cost. However, in contrast, the payback model fails to consider the time value of money, tends to give the impression that investment that pay back faster and satisfy immediate financial goals are better. It's often very inaccurate. In conclusion, family businesses are vital to the economic development of every nation, like I said before, job creations, wealth maximization, and so on and so forth, some of the benefits that comes from family businesses. Funding sources are usually a major challenge affecting the growth of family businesses because most lending institutions are more comfortable lending to big multinational organizations than lending to entrepreneurial ventures. Funds have to be utilized judiciously to assure enduring success because any organization that squanders its funds in unproductive investment is doomed to fail, no doubt about that. The decision to invest in capital assets is called a capital budgeting decision. Capital budgeting tools are great tools for assuring value for money, and throughput analysis, discounted cash analysis, and payback period analysis are some of the most popular techniques of capital budgeting that is utilized across the world by different businesses. However, while most entrepreneurs do not usually follow the rudiments of formal capital budgeting processes, probably because of the time it takes, they tend to take their investment decision on the spur of the moment. Capital budgeting is strongly recommended because it helps you to, to compare different alternative options so that you are guided in your decision-making processes. This is very important for the success of every family business. Because like I said before, any bad decision that are made will cause an organization dealing. So references, the sources of information used in making this presentation are listed below. 7 different sources were used and they are listed below in these two slides. So I've come to the end of my presentation today. Thank you very much for your time. It's been great having you here. And at this time, I will take some questions and provide some answers if there are questions. So please feel free and ask your questions. Yeah, it appears there are no questions. So once again, thank you very much for your time today. It's been wonderful having you around. I'll see you again at some other time. Thank you and bye for now.